In the news this week,
I tell us about Shakespeare's folio that was found in Saint Omer, a city in the north of France.
Tess provides insight into the EU debate with some exclusive footage from the event itself.
And Ethan lets us know if there's any sunny spells ahead with the weather.
I'm Matthew Hudson.
And I'm Dave Kokoza, and this is KTV News.
Whilst a group of documentarists from KTV were filming in France over the winter break, they stumbled across a treasured artefact. Dave tells us more.
It's very clear that England and Saint Omer have a very intertwined history, evidenced by the fact that one of Shakespeare's first folios was discovered right here. Remy, please tell me about the discovery of the first folio here.
So the discovery occurred last summer, in the preparation of the exhibition of last summer about English literature in our collection. And of course, dealing with English literature, we couldn't avoid talking about Shakespeare. But we didn't expect it. We hoped we had a French translation of the 19th century, but not a 17th first edition.
And you've mentioned, that it's one of the first ones. So how important is that discovery?
To be frank, for French, it perhaps wasn't that much important, but we knew that Shakespeareans are very keen of this kind of discovery because we don't have any more traces of Shakespeare handwritings. For that, the very first printed edition is the nearest testimony we have about his work. This first folio is one of the 233 testimony of the nearest to Shakespeare himself.
And you said that there is going to be an exhibition happening in
Yes.
the summer here?
Yes.
Tell me a bit about that, please.
Exactly. We had some contact with the Globe Theatre in London, and they asked us if it was possible to lend them our exemplary. I think there are 5 exemplary in the British Library, but they were already lent to other places, and so the Globe Theatre surprisingly has no exemplary. So our were very good opportunity for them to present one of the exemplary.
How do you get such a valuable object without destroying it or ruining it?
Oh yes, okay.
How do you transport this?
It's not that complicated. We have some kind of protocol, lots of paper to sign, etc. Of course, we insure it. And after that, it's professional who are accustomed to transport this kind of work of art, and there is special cases, etc. to be sure it will be in the best condition. And in the place where it's put in display, there are special cases, etc. So especially with the temperature, moisture, etc. So everything has been checked.
How did the first folio arrive here in Saint Omer?
Well, it's a long story and a very old one, because one of its specificities is that it's the only first folio which is still now in the same place he were in the 18th century. But we are sure that in 1733 it was in Saint Omer's Jesuits College, English Jesuits College Library. It's not that surprising because Saint Omer has been a kind of Catholic bastion against the Anglicanism and the Protestantism, since Saint Omer stays in the Catholic area for a long time. So very early, in the beginning of the 16th century, an English Jesuits college has been built here and was very, very renowned. We still have here a very huge collection of English printed books from the 16th to 18th century. Here you have a very important and huge collection with very ancient books. I have already held in my hand some books which have known Charlemagne. So, 17th edition, even from Shakespeare, is a jewel amongst lots of others. So, of course, I was quite proud to put it online. But rare books are my quotidien. Yes, my specialty. It's not that surprising.
What's the oldest book you have ever held?
Well, a full book, the oldest we have here and of which I have hold is end of the second half of the 9th century. So the end of Charlemagne's period. But we also have here some fragments, so little piece of books, much older, 6th century. So it's the oldest piece of book I have held. Of course, you try to imagine who might have held it. We have lots of French kings who came here. Perhaps they had contact with these books, and more recently I find some interesting books which Erasmus might have heard and read. So when you have such huge spirit, huge person, historical people of whom you can have kind of sharing some few part of their history, it's very, very emotive.
Wonderful. Remy, thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure.
You don't see much, but the library we were in is made from wood from the old original Abbey of Saint Omer. It was an incredible afternoon overall.
Yes, it certainly looked that way.
Well, we are going to go to Tess, who's been behind